WRNR will be broadcasting live, so come out this weekend to Sunfire Energy Solutions, located at 301 East Stevens Street in Martinsburg.
We're talking flood safety tips with Bill Kearns and Angie Gray from the Berkeley County Health Department.
When you have flooding, it brings the sewage up out of the ground. Most people have the septic tanks, and that water comes to the ground, and everything else comes up with it. When you're out there in the floodwaters, you're exposing yourself to all kinds of nasty bacteria.
We recommend anybody that's been in floodwaters to get their tetanus shot updated. The concern is with open wounds, but a lot of times we have microscopic areas that are open that we're not even aware of.
This flood safety information brought to you by the Berkeley County Health Department, 122 Waverly Court, Martinsburg.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time, along with Matt Crawford. I'm Matt Miller. It's a Monday evening with you until 7 o'clock. Been talking high school football. We'll continue to do that in just a moment. But first, it has now gone final as the Houston Astros have taken care of the Cleveland Indians. The Astros advancing on to the American League Championship Series. Who will they face next? Yankees? Red Sox?
That's the million-dollar question right now.
It's a fun series already.
It is.
Tied at 1 apiece.
It is not disappointing, let's put it that way.
Right now, we have a special guest who is supposed to join us on Wednesday, a local man by the name of Bill.
That was interesting wording use. Right now, we have a special guest, Wednesday.
Okay, right.
On Wednesday, as of now.
As of now, that's the one. Thank you.
I'll give you a break. You've been up since 3 a.m.
English. So as of now, we have a special guest scheduled for Wednesday. Yeah, Bill Kearns is going to come in and talk with us. He's got a very interesting history with Major League Baseball and some big-time players, in particular some New York Yankees players. And we're going to hear some stories and talk a little bit of baseball playoffs. So look forward to that on Wednesday. He's going to join us for the entire hour from 5 to 6. And, of course, on Wednesday, we'll be on the air until about 6:45 as we take you right up to the pregame for Washington Capitals hockey. They're finally back to action after a week off. Let's play your opener.
Wasn't
and then
quite a week off. It was 6 days.
Still,
yeah, too long.
Playing back-to-back.
And then they'll play back-to-back and be off for a week again.
No, they're off one day, and then they play on Saturday. They play 3 games.
I thought that was the following week.
No, it's 3 games in 4 days this week. Bang, bang, bang.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
I wish somebody would explain to me why scheduling should be this complicated. I really would like to know, because it seems a lot more complicated than it actually is.
Well, especially in this day and age, you would figure
it's all electronic.
Some mathematician, will have already created an algorithm that they just plop teams in and go. Boop,
maybe
boop, boop,
maybe
boop,
that's
boop.
the problem. Maybe nobody goes back and puts in the human element.
They
leave it to a computer and go, okay, we're just going to let this be final. Nobody looks at it and goes, why are the Capitals playing back-to-back days and they're off for a week, then play 3 out of 4? Or have a team play Monday night and Thursday night. Whatever. Speaking of Monday Night Football, we'll talk about the Redskins here coming up.
Dun, 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 dun.
They have a tough matchup with the New Orleans Saints tonight. I'm nervous.
You should be.
I know I should be. It's why I am.
But at the same time, the Redskins are in prime position to
I think that's what scares me most.
Take charge of the NFC East.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
So what are we talking about now?
Well, it's the bottom of the hour, so that means only one thing.
Okay.
That means it's time to look at tomorrow in sports history. Taking a look at the 9th of October, 768. I'm just kidding. This isn't sport-wise. I was going to test your knowledge of regular things that happen in history. Did you know in 768, Charlemagne and his brother Carloman I are crowned king of the Franks? Does that mean king of the hot dogs?
I don't know.
And in 1941, Franklin D. Roosevelt approved the atomic bomb project, a.k.a. the Manhattan Project.
Back to the Franks, I had 3 of those for lunch when I went home.
Did you?
Yeah, plopped a few of them on the grill.
Apparently, Charlemagne and Carloman are the kings of them.
Well,
that was approved back in 768 A.D.
I am grateful that they have passed on the Frank generation, or Frank, but anyway, go on.
Let's go to sports, where we actually know a lot of stuff going on. 1909, Ty Cobb steals home in a World Series game. Talk about something that's impressive to do.
Yeah.
Stealing home without a flat out counts as a steal home.
It's a fun play when it works. And exciting whether it works or doesn't.
1910. I'm sorry, let's go to 1915. That one wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. 1915, Woodrow Wilson, there's a bridge named after him, becomes the first U.S. president to attend a World Series game.
Does it say he threw out the first pitch?
It does not.
Interesting.
I wonder who was the... For some reason, I want to say... It was after that, at the official throwing out of the first pitch was done. It wasn't 1915. It was later than that. I would think. 1916, just 1 year later, Babe Ruth begins his 29 2/3 scoreless innings World Series streak. Because, again, many people don't remember that Babe Ruth was a pretty impressive pitcher to go along with a batter in the early part of his career. 1920, the very first World Series game ever to be played in the city of Cleveland. The Indians win 2-1. Against who, I don't know, because that would just be too much information to give us. A lot of baseball stuff going on this time of year when it comes to this date in sports history. So we'll scroll down to get something else. Not that I don't love talking about baseball. We'll try to get some other events in here. 1986, Gilbert Perreault of the Buffalo Sabres becomes the 12th NHLer to score 500 goals.
That's a lot of goals.
Yeah, not too bad at all. All right, we'll go to 1989. The first NFL game coached by an African American. Do you know who it was?
No.
Give you a hint. It was the LA Raiders. 1989. Back when you still liked
Raiders
NFL football. The Raiders.
I'm still drawing a blank.
Art Shell.
Okay.
The Raiders beat the New York Jets 14-7 on Monday Night Football, so apparently the Jets still sucked even back then. Sorry.
They got a big
that
win.
Was mean.
Come on.
The Jets are not good.
Jets, Jets.
1997. North Carolina's record-winning college basketball coach Dean Smith retires. He retired awfully close to the start of the season.
The Dean Dome.
The Dean Dome.
Named after him.
Maryland was one of the few teams. You know, Maryland got the first win at the Dean Dome.
All right.
Maryland and Lefty Driesell got the... Lefty was the first coach to win at the Dean Dome. And one more for you again from 1997. On October 9th, the New York Rangers are the first NHL team to open up with 4 straight ties. And that is your look at what's going on tomorrow in sports history.
Speaking of ties, what's going on in the NFL this year?
There was almost another one.
I was going to say, we're having
Ravens and Browns.
So many overtime games, and neither team can seem to score in overtime either, because even the ones that didn't end up being ties, the scores came late.
Do you think it has anything to do with the overtime period being 5 minutes shorter?
Perhaps.
If
you're going to do that, then you got to play 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, if
we're going to play 4 15-minute quarters when we get to overtime, it's only going to be 10.
Because you think if you can possess the ball with the amount of time between plays, you get a couple of first downs, you could easily run 4 minutes off of the clock and not quite be in position to get, right. It'd be a long
runs
field
a 4
goal.
minute, has a 4 minute drive that sputters out at the end. You only have 2 minutes left. That's very similar to what happened in the Ravens-Browns game yesterday.
They should make it penalty kicks.
All right, Caleb Flair was awful mad about this. So we're gonna bring him in because he was fired up when he came in today.
No,
Caleb,
I want penalty kicks like they do in soccer. So if you're still tied at the end of overtime...
Have you seen how bad kicking is in the NFL this year?
That's my point. So
Mason Crosby, who's considered one of the best kickers in the NFL, missed 4 field goals and an extra point yesterday.
13
kicking
possible
is
points.
So bad in the NFL this year.
That's so set them up at an extra point. Each kicker kicks an extra point.
An extra point isn't a gimme anymore.
That's my point. And then you back up 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, and do penalty kicks. Come on, that's the way to do it. Then your Ravens would have had a chance yesterday Caleb, because you got one of the better
They
place
only
kickers.
scored 9 points against the Cleveland Browns. They didn't deserve to win.
You guys think kicking's bad. What I think's the worst this year is Michael Crabtree's hands. I mean, he has a wide open touchdown catch in the end zone, and what happens? He drops it.
He's having a historically bad year with drops.
Yes, it's definitely historical.
Which-
What is it? He's got the most in the league?
Yeah. He's had
gets so many
he's had the
targets.
most in the league since he entered the NFL. He has more drops than anybody else in the league during that time period.
Hey, Crawford, what was he known for in college for?
Texas Tech, he came out knowing with the word that he had the best hands in college football. When he was a Red Raider of Texas Tech, the big thing coming in the draft was Crabtree's got the best hands in the draft.
Well, the times have changed, haven't they?
Drastically.
But the whole overtime thing, I really like the college. What they
I do
with
too.
it.
I
understand that you can't give them the ball that close to the end zone, but maybe just at the half point of the field, maybe go from the 50 in.
What is the issue that a lot of NFL offenses can't seem to score right now? You mentioned how bad the kicking is, but it seems like there are more kick attempts in just about every game. The offenses get to the red zone and sputter more often than they do actually putting the ball into the end zone. You know, honestly, I think a lot of your touchdowns come from big plays in the NFL anymore. You know, I'm talking 30 yards or more. If you get down in there, it's just consistent field goal, field goal, field goal. And that's why I think, to an extent, the league's becoming a bit boring.
I don't know what causes that, because I don't know what's changed between. It's not like there's been a gradual decline in this. And you say that, but this year I was watching the NFL Red Zone channel, which I know you don't have cable. Do you know what you know what the Red Zone is?
I do, yes.
It's whoever thought of that in a room is the greatest genius. Einstein's an idiot compared to this guy. But they were putting up stats yesterday.
The guy that came up with that was a fantasy football guy. You know that. Because that's what that's all about, is being able to keep track of your favorite player on your team and what they're doing. Go ahead.
The amount of points scored and touchdowns was achieved quicker than it had been since the early 2010s this year, through 5 weeks.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Then it must be just a couple of
but
teams.
Yeah, what I guess
The Chiefs, they're
the
scoring a lot.
Chiefs are putting up numbers like you wouldn't believe. I'm trying to think. I mean, who else is putting numbers up like gangbusters?
Steelers have had a couple of games where they've put up some points. The Bengals.
You look at the Buccaneers, their first couple games.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens scored 42 their first game and couldn't score more than 9.
The Bills put up 35, 38 in that win against Minnesota. So there's been high-scoring games and multiple in a week. It's, I don't know, I guess. Is it that there's more teams in that bottom tier of teams? Could that be it? I mean, this doesn't have to be exact here, but let's just look at the rankings real quick in the NFL. And look at the NFC East. You have the defending Super Bowl champions. You have the Giants, who everybody thought, which, again, I called. The Giants are not that good of a team. Everybody thought they were going to have this quick turnaround. No. Saquon Barkley doesn't automatically change that team. And we'll talk about the Giants a little bit later with their donk of a wide receiver and give out our first ever Donk of the Week award. But looking at the standings right now in the NFL, and again, it's a small sample size. This could turn around. But you look at the AFC East, there's 2 teams above 500, 2 teams below 500. AFC North, 2 teams above 500, 2 teams at 500. AFC South, 2 above, 2 below. AFC West, 2 above, 2 below. NFC East, 1 above, 3 below. NFC North, 1 above, 2 at, 1 below 500. And then the NFC West, 1 above, 3 below. So you look at the NFC alone, there's a lot of teams that are 500 or below. And in the AFC, there's a lot of there. It's 50-50 above and below 500. So to me, it's just there's a lot more teams that may be in that. We talked about how there's a certain amount of teams that are going to be in that upper tier. And right now you're saying, okay, Cincinnati's 4-1. They're an upper tier team. The Chiefs are an upper tier team right now. The Bears are an upper tier team at 3-1, although I don't think they're going to stay there. Then you have New Orleans and Carolina, who are 3-1, and the Rams. So what is that, 6, 7 teams? I'm not putting the Redskins in there yet because they haven't played yet. this week, but they could end up being 3-1, which would put them statistically, and again, I'm not sure how long that's going to stay, but statistically right now in one of those upper tiers. So you're talking about 5 or 6, maybe anywhere up to 8 top-tier teams through the quarter mark of the season. And you have 2 teams, 1, 2, 3, you have 5 teams just in the NFC that are 1-4. And in the AFC, you have 2 teams. So you have 7 teams in the NFL that are 1-4 right now. So
well, the whole idea has been parity, right? I mean, that's what the NFL has been shooting for, to try to keep teams and franchises as absolutely relevant as possible and to stir up fan bases to come out and see their teams and or the competition. So, you know, their goal has been to try to create parity. And I guess to an extent they've done it. But at the same time, I don't know. I saw no football yesterday whatsoever. I heard a little bit of the Steelers game as we had the broadcast here, and was in the vehicle driving back and forth from playing some flag football. And I can't say I didn't see any, I will admit. At my parents' house, there was a little bit of the Vikings game on against the Eagles, and saw a handful of plays in that game. But overall, yeah, right now it's boring.
It's not drawing you back in yet?
Not yet. Not at all. You and I went and saw the first half of my Bucs' horrendous loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The guys asked me this morning, as Phil McCoy was on, a Steelers fan, along with David Welch, a Steelers fan. They asked me, Matt, how did your team do? And I said, hey, we had a winner because we didn't play. So anytime that we didn't lose is a win when you're Tampa Bay, you know.
With the Bucs,
because I'm not convinced we're going in the right direction as a team, as a franchise. So we'll find out.
All right, we'll continue talking football. Coming up, we got a break to get in for the top of the hour. Going 2 hours tonight as we take you to the Dana Holgerson Show from out in Morgantown. We'll be back for more Miller Time after this.
Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? You done started doing the things you used to do.
Remember that last trip to the auto mechanic?
I also think your solenoid gasket is bad.
What?
Yep, that'll be another $500.
Forget that and go to D&N Auto Specialist at 230 Tavern Road, Martinsburg, where honesty is their best policy. Serving the Eastern Panhandle since 1974, D&N Auto is family-owned and operated, specializing in exhaust alignments and tires. From general maintenance to major overhauls, they'll treat you right. Call D&N Auto Specialist at 304-267-4078.
Spring Mills Primary Care and Pediatrics is now accepting new patients. With a team of 8 pediatric and family medicine providers, Spring Mills Primary Care and Pediatrics offers compassionate and comprehensive services for the whole family, both adults and children. Spring Mills Primary Care and Pediatrics at the new WVU Medicine Spring Mills Medical Office Building, now open and accepting new patients. To schedule an appointment, call 304-274-6343.
I'm Joe Ferretti of Ferretti Law Office. The most common question I hear from people injured in an automobile wreck or because someone else was at fault is, can their insurance company do that? If you call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505, I will answer that question and other questions you have for free. Get educated and get ready to fight back. Call 264-8505 to protect your rights and get the compensation you deserve. Put my 31 years of personal injury and trial experience to work for you. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
EPTA invites you to take advantage of their rider programs, the $5 all-day pass, the monthly pass, and the Get a Job, Get a Ride program. Visit EPTAWV.com for further details and come ride with us. This message brought to you by EPTA, the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority. For schedules and rider information, visit EPTAWV.com. EPTA serves Berkeley and Jefferson counties.
Take the bus, come ride with us.
Rich Greenback for Panhandle Printing and Design with the story of Molly Simpson. Molly loved cats and was overjoyed when she brought home her new kitten, Fuzzy. But her joy was interrupted when Fuzzy climbed the tree in her backyard and refused to come down. 9 days later, Fuzzy was still mewing, and she turned to this intrepid reporter for Panhandle Printing and Design for help. I know that everyone finds joy when they need help with printing and turn to Panhandle Printing and Design. They can help with all your printing needs, with everything from design to production of stationery, envelopes, business cards, invitations, vinyl signs, banners, vehicle wraps, large format construction plans, and more. Here, Fuzzy. Here, Fuzzy. Well, Fuzzy isn't budging. If you've dealt with a printing company that makes you want to climb a tree, see your one-stop printing shop where they have something for everyone. Panhandle Printing and Design at 124 North Maple Avenue in Martinsburg. Call 304-267-7400 or find them online.
Back again on Miller Time. Along with Matt Crawford, I'm Matt Miller. Kind of rehashing the weekend in football. A little baseball that we talked about as the Houston Astros got the win over the Cleveland Indians today, 11-3. And so that will put the Astros into the American League Championship Series. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Brewers have already put themselves into the NL Championship Series, waiting to see if it will be the Dodgers or the Braves, as the Braves were able to stay alive with a victory.
And you and I have no dog in the fight, and we're just watching for good baseball.
That's it. And so far, I think it's been pretty good. Now, today's game got out of hand quickly for the Indians, as we were watching a few of the highlights here during the last portion of the program. But otherwise, I think that, you know, they have been some pretty good games.
It is weird. The Cubs have spoiled me the last couple years. It is weird not having the Cubs in this round of the playoffs. It is strange. Right now, I mean, with the Caps having this big break and the Cubs not playing in the playoffs in this series right now, I haven't really, and the Redskins haven't played in back-to-back weekends. They played at night, so I've had them sitting there going, man, I haven't, been into a sport in a while. So
you can get back into it tonight.
I can. And hopefully the Redskins give me something to cheer about. Again, we'll break down that a little bit later.
I was going to say, you concerned me just a little bit there. You know, I'm expecting you.
We'll get to it. Don't worry, because we have a 2-minute segment from the coach's show.
Okay.
Which isn't what it used to be. I remember as a kid on Channel 4 in D.C. It used to be George Michael and Frank Herzog, and they'd either be John Riggins or Sonny Jurgensen would alternate. And they'd have whoever the coach, whether it was Spurrier, Schottenheimer, Gibbs, and it would be on Saturday nights. That would be when I was at either at my house or my grandparents' house. At 7:30 or 7 o'clock, whichever time slot it was on, or 6. It was sometime past 5 o'clock in the evening on Saturday. That half hour, we were watching the coach's show. Now it's turned into kind of a podcast, or it's on Comcast Sports or NBC Sports Washington, but it's not really that big of a deal anymore. It's Larry Michaels and Chris Cooley, and it's not what it used to be. I remember that used to be, whatever we were doing that Saturday night, you had to sit down, especially when Joe Gibbs came back, and it was the NBC4 crew, and you had Herzog and Michael.
Well, but I think that's part of where we are as a society when everything is instantaneous, when anything you want is at the palm of your hand, when we all carry around this thing I'm waving in front of the camera, an iPhone. You've got a small computer that is in your hand, and you can watch and listen, as you said. Podcast? What? Back in that day, once a week, you got to really hear from the coach. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, you heard a few snippets here and there.
Sports talk radio, they would send guys to the press conference after practice, the media, but you never saw the coach. I mean, it would be a clip in sports and news that was 15 seconds long. But, yeah, it was nice to sit down. And it's funny. It's about a 2-minute segment that I have, and it's funny because I don't think Jay Gruden likes Larry Michaels a whole lot. He kind of did to dig at the end, and I don't like Larry much either, so I gained a little bit of respect for Mr. Gruden. But why are you concerned? You said you're concerned that I'm not, like, more energetic about the game tonight?
I mean, as a Redskins fan who is still into the NFL, unlike myself as a Buck fan who's kind of like, whatever right now, you are a Redskin fan. You are into the NFL football season, and your team is at a point where a win tonight, and they can be in somewhat command, if you will. I mean, I know they still got to play the Eagles and the Giants and the Cowboys. Right, they still have to win those games, but still, this is a big game tonight, and instead of going, man, I'm excited, I'm ready to go, and we're going to get this win, you're kind of like, I hope we get this one. Come on. I shouldn't have to fire you up.
Trust me, you're not firing me up, and we got to take the top of the hour break. When we come back, I'll give you the reasons why I may not be quite as juiced as you would like me to be.
All right.
You're listening to Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg and Miller Time. We'll be back after this news and weather break at the top of the hour.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. A train hit a car, and amazingly, no one was seriously hurt. Police say it happened Sunday on Joshua Lane in Berkeley Springs. The warning had gone off, and still the car tried to cross the tracks. 2 people, both of whom were in the car, were hospitalized, but they'll be okay. Lincoln County led in new business growth. They had 1.36% growth in September with 5 new businesses, according to the West Virginia Secretary of State's office. Statewide, we saw 10.8% growth in business registrations in the previous 12-month period. That growth was led by Summers County at nearly 16.6%. Berkeley County saw 12.8% growth over the same period. 33-year-old Robert Earl Berkey of Ranson is facing 3 to 15 years in prison after being charged for allegedly selling drugs that resulted in a woman's overdose and death. That's according to the Journal. Berkey was arraigned on Thursday in Jefferson County Magistrates Court. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Warm temperatures for this point in the season out there for tonight as readings slowly come down through the 70s. Our late night low at 66. Cloud cover will be a factor. Some more thick fog first thing tomorrow morning. Once that fog lifts, we'll start to see some partial sun, and we'll have a forecast high right around 80 degrees. Same story for Wednesday, partly sunny, and again a high of 80. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved at Rotary.org.
It's the 10 Days to Deal event at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Martinsburg. That means great savings like the all-new 2019 Ram truck as low as $32,900. How about a 2019 Jeep Cherokee at 0% APR plus $1,500 cash back? Get a 2018 Pacifica for only $24,987. How about a 2018 Jeep Compass for a low $229 a month, or a 2018 Dodge Charger as low as $299 per month. Get a 2018 Dodge Grand Caravan at only $299 per month. It's all at the 10 Days to Deal event at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Kelly Island Road, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Stock numbers 19049, 19001, and 19319. All payments based on approved credit, taxes, tags, and processing fees extra. See dealer for details.
Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson, where accident, injury, and disability lawyers with over 120 years combined local trial experience. When injury or illness has stopped you from working, you may be eligible for Social Security disability. Ron Harmon has been winning disability claims for over a quarter of a century. Don't hire some out-of-state firm. Ron Harmon's in Martinsburg. He will meet with you right here in our office. Get a local lawyer you can trust. Call 304-LAWYERS for a free consultation. 304-LAWYERS or 304-263-0900.
We are back again on Miller Time with you until 7 o'clock tonight. Then it's the Dana Holgerson Show at 9 o'clock. We'll join in progress Washington Redskins football in New Orleans against the Saints. Matt Miller along with Matt Crawford. been talking some high school football. Never really finished that, by the way, either.
Oh, we didn't.
Big win for Spring Mills.
That was a surprise one, I think, too. Not that they won, but necessarily the fashion in which they came out.
I was going to say the number of points that they put up in getting the win against Jefferson, the Cougars coming off of a bye week after a tough loss in which they had the lead up at Kaiser. I was wondering how this one would play out, and it was Spring Mills who snaps their losing streak and gets the big win. And then Washington falling against Frankfurt. Again, another kind of high-scoring affair between those two teams. Last year, the win went to Washington as they snapped a 25-game losing streak with that victory. This go-around, it's the Frankfurt Falcons who get the win.
And this one's going to be tough to swallow for the Patriots. They had, I think, it was at least 2. It may have been 3 or 4. I know with trying to keep up with everything, I wasn't necessarily Johnny on the spot with the other games. But they had the lead a couple of different times in that game. And then in the second half, they just let Frankfurt kind of get on a little bit of a roll and put together some consecutive scoring drives. So I think talking to Coach Glenn Simpson this week of the Washington Patriots, this one's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so we put the finishing touches on the high school football schedule. We'll talk more about what comes up this Friday night throughout the course of the week. We'll go to college in just a bit, but we were talking a little NFL, and you promised on the other side of the break that you were going to fill me in as to why you are not the crazed, excited, ready for Monday Night Football Redskins fan that I expected you to be.
I'm ready for Monday Night Football. I'm ready for the Redskins game. I'm just not overhyping myself. I'm trying to not be disappointed in tonight. Because you look at the situations of this game. The Redskins are on prime time. How good are they on prime time?
Hasn't been their greatest.
Exactly.
No.
You look at the fact they have the opportunity, and I get it's early in the season, it's a small sample size, but put a game and a half in the division ahead of teams that really aren't playing that well right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing a Drew Brees-led offense when Drew Brees has the opportunity to throw his 500th touchdown pass and with 201 yards passing breaks Peyton Manning's all-time record for yards.
That's probably going to
You're
happen.
in the Dome on Monday Night Football where they play really well in prime time, unlike the Redskins. Those are a lot of things that as a Redskin fan you got to look at and go.
But you have a winning record overall against the New Orleans Saints. And last year, you should have gotten that win in New Orleans.
The New Orleans Saints, before Drew Brees, how much competition was New Orleans giving year in and year out? I believe before then they were referred to as the Aints, and they were the paper bag wearing fans.
We're not going that far back. Come on.
17-6 record overall against the Saints is nice, but you look at the major, or the majority at least, of that, not rivalry, but that matchup, and the Saints weren't exactly putting a very tough and competitive team on the field year in and year out.
Had every opportunity to beat a very good Saints team on the road last year. I find it ironic that you're playing the Saints back-to-back years in New Orleans when they're not even like a division rival or anything like that.
I don't understand. And I'm pretty sure 3 of the last 4 have been in New Orleans.
Because
I can't remember. It was, I know RG3's rookie year, which was 2012, they were in New Orleans. And I can't remember if they played in between 2015 and 2012 and 2017. I figured they had to, and it was probably at home. I just can't remember that game off the top of my head. But still, three of the last 4 have been in New Orleans.
And we talked about the scheduling earlier, right?
Unfair.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Yeah, how does that happen? If you're playing an out-of-conference game, it should rotate. There should never be back-to-back years where you're playing at the same location. That's just one man's opinion. So that is why that's why I'm not sitting here going like this, antsy, can't sit still. I'm excited for the game. I will be wearing my burgundy and gold tomorrow if the Redskins win. I'm just not going to get overly excited when, being a Redskins fan, there's a lot of things stacked against you.
All right.
So do you understand where I'm coming from now?
I hear you. You're cautiously optimistic.
I'm cautiously optimistic is the best way to put that. Yes, that was very well put. All right, let's hear from the big guy. Let's hear from Jay Gruden. This was, again, part of the new regime of coaches shows that isn't as good as the old regime was. But this is a couple segments from the Redskins coaches show with the voice of the Redskins, Larry Michael, and color commentator, the best tight end in Redskin history, best Redskin of all time, Chris Cooley. They sat down with the head coach, and Chris Cooley got it started talking about just playing in New Orleans on Monday Night Football and coming off a bye week and having still extra time because of playing on Monday Night Football to prepare for the Saints.
It's almost like you don't want a Monday night game after a bye week. You get a bye week, so you get forever to prepare, and then you get a short week.
Yeah, I know it. That's tough. Never like Monday night games and then the short week right away, but especially at New Orleans, one of the toughest Monday night venues there is. So it'll be a great challenge for us, but we'll be ready.
All right, Coach, go back to Green Bay 2 weeks ago. Feels like forever, but
yeah, that was a long time ago.
Offensively, you really did a good job marrying the run game and the pass game, and you guys stayed balanced throughout. How do you build up that momentum?
I think we had to continue to fight to do that. You know, as tough as it is, sometimes you want to throw the ball and wing it down the field. I think Adrian Peterson's shown that he can really move the chains, make big plays happen in the running game, and then Alex does a nice job with the play actions and all that good stuff. So it just depends on how the game goes. The big thing is to try to stay on the field and keep Drew Brees on the bench.
Alex does a great job with those RPOs. Every time you have any kind of run action, Larry's saying, well, was that one RPO? And I think everyone does that, but Coach...
Got me fooled. He's got me fooled.
It's got to be a lot of fun creating with Alex.
It is. And I mentioned this before, there's almost too many plays. You know, you get on the board, you're like, hey, we can do this, and this. He's so versatile in what he can do with the options and the RPOs and the boots and the keeps. A lot of things he can do, not many things he can't do, so it's just a matter of dwindling down and getting a good plan together.
We got pressure up the middle on Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees is not a big scrambler. I mean, can you do it again?
That's the intent. We better. Otherwise, they'll be giving him the game ball for 50,000 yards quite soon in the game. So we better get pressure.
71,000, by the way.
71,000?
71,000 and change.
Yeah, sorry. I was off 21,000. But yeah, we have to get pressure. We have to get pressure. But now that they have Ingram back, you know, it's a new dynamic. Now they're going to be more of a power running team and between the tackles, which will open up the play action shots for them. So it's going to be a tough game.
Coach, it's got to be tough to start thinking about stopping not only Drew Brees, but then Kamara and Ingram, because you're going to start seeing some power run and some more in between the tackles stuff. How do you start to plan for that?
You forgot about Michael Thomas, who's got about 3,000 targets already in 4 games.
Number one.
He has 46 targets. 46 targets.
Yeah.
44 receptions.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah, they're very versatile in what they can do. They can open up the formations. They can close the formations down. They can do the play actions out of any personnel grouping. They bring in this Wildcat quarterback in Tyson Hill, and no telling what he's going to do. So they're very unique in their style, but they're very effective.
Okay, New Orleans has scored 137 points this year, 62 of those in the fourth quarter. Now, we're looking back last year, I mean, obviously 60 minutes. You got to play the whole game, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a good idea, Larry. That's a very good recommendation by you, man. Very well observant. I think we learned the hard way. We had a 15-point lead with 5 minutes to go in the game and failed on a third down, punted. He goes down, scores, and then we had another third down and inches and a horrific call by myself, and they came back and tied us and won it overtime.
Sorry to bring that up, Coach.
Thanks.
You think Jay Gruden doesn't want to relive that game from last year? Did you get that sense with that last question?
Yeah, I got the feeling.
He seemed to get pretty snippy with Larry Michael at the end there.
He was ready to. That's in the past. That was then, this is now. Let's focus on beating the Saints.
I know listening to some of the D.C. media this morning, Jay Gruden answered the media last week, and they asked if that loss last year sticks out more than any other loss. And he goes, no, we remember all the losses. And I'm thinking, no, that loss has to stick out more than your average run-of-the-mill loss.
Does it stick out more if they're a playoff caliber team? In other words, maybe it doesn't just because the way the season played out.
They put themselves in a position, if they would have won that game, to be a playoff caliber team.
That one game would have made the difference?
It would have put them in a better position. Now,
right.
The last 2 years in December, the Redskins offense has been in a different time zone than the rest of the team playing that day. So it wouldn't have made a difference looking at it now, but at the time, I think it would have put the Redskins in a better position later on in the season. But again, hindsight's 20/20. You never know at the time what's going to happen. Looking back, it's easy to say, oh, if that's good, at least you can get on a roll a little bit. But you also got to remember that game, Chris Thompson fractured his tibia or fibia. It was fractured a bone in his leg. So you lose that weapon, which was a lot of the offense last year.
Right.
So they win that. They hold on for that win. Who's to say any of the rest of the season would have gone any different? And instead of finishing 7-9, they finish 8-8. That's not going to get you in the playoffs any better. So, again, who's to say how that would have affected last year?
As a Redskins fan, are you on top of this? How have they typically done coming off of a bye? Has in the Jay Gruden era, has it been good to them?
This is his 5th year. He lost his first 2 games coming off the bye week, and he has won his last 2. So hopefully it's not a trend where it goes 2-2 and 2-2. Hopefully he's on.
See, there's that pessimistic side of you again.
Glass half full.
You're supposed to be going, so we're on a roll right now. We're on
a 2-game winning streak coming off of bye weeks.
There you go. All right. Now you're sounding more like an actual fan.
You won't find a bigger fan than me. I'm telling you that right now. But being a fan is also being able to be realistic.
It's not.
You can't go out and say, we're going to win every week.
Fan is short for fanatic, and you have to be fanatical.
You can't look at the 85 Bears defense and go, the offense is going to go out and score 400 yards or 80 points and have 400 yards every week. It's about being, I think a good fan is also realistic. That it's hard to go undefeated. You're not going to win every game. Odds are you're going to drop some. And it's about looking at a game and going, it's going to be tough. I'm not saying the Redskins are going to lose tonight. I want them to win. I'm going to be rooting for them to win. I'll be screaming at the TV. But it's about being realistic in certain situations.
I hear you.
All right, we'll take a break.
Okay.
We come back. See, I'm even playing Hail to the Redskins going out.
I hear it.
I got the spirit. Don't worry. We're going to give out our first ever Donk of the Week award. We're going to try to make this a segment once a week. We'll find the guy who is the biggest bonehead of the week, and they're going to be our official Miller Time Donk of the Week. And our Donk of the Week this week comes from the New York Giants. We'll give you more coming up next on Miller Time.
We want a lot more. Beat 'em, swamp 'em, touch them at the point score. Fight on, till you have won. Come to Washington. Rock, rock, rock. Hail to you.
Looking for a full-service web design company right here in the Eastern Panhandle? Then look no further than Pro Design LLC, specializing in web design and development, web hosting, and application development. Pro Design is a locally owned company serving local clients since 1997 with a reputation of quality, creativity, and personal touch. Let Pro Design build or redesign your dream website. Find them online at professionaldesign.com or phone 304-676-9940.
The Mountaineers move up in the national rankings, and the coaching staff honors players for Saturday's performance against Kansas. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. Those stories and more coming up on the Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
Well, the Mountaineer football team continues to climb the national rankings. Polls coming out yesterday, and WVU is now number 6 in both the Associated Press and the USA Today coaches poll. Some individual honors from the victory over the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday. Coaching staff announcing on Sunday that Letty Brown, the running back, freshman, was named the offensive champion. Brown scored a touchdown on the ground and through the air on Saturday. The defensive champion, South Charleston's Derek Pitts. He went back to to his normal natural position of safety and played extremely well. He's the defensive champion. Special teams champion is Giovanni Stewart. A couple of other news and notes from a national level coming out of Saturday's game. West Virginia now is one of 5 Power 5 conference teams in the nation to rank in the top 25 in both scoring offense and scoring defense. The Mountaineers come in at number 22 in scoring at 41 points per game, 25th nationally in scoring defense, giving up just under 19 points per game. And the Mountaineers, number 4 nationally in third down conversion percentage. WVU converting at a clip of 56%. The top 4 teams in that category, NC State, Central Florida, Alabama, and West Virginia, are all currently undefeated. A couple of Will Greer notes for you. The senior quarterback, one of 2 QBs nationally to have now thrown for 3 or more touchdowns in 5 consecutive games. And Greer ranks in the top 5 in passing yardage per game and total offense. He comes in at number 3. That is today's Mountaineer Report. It's brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
Grab a seat at the tables each week with House of Cards. Former Yankee beat writer and author of Dueling with Kings, Daniel Barbarisi.
I was a baseball writer, and how do guys should be so good at this daily fantasy sports baseball thing? And that's where I was very, very wrong about.
Scott Ian from Anthrax.
I found a lot of similarities between playing poker and playing guitar.
Director of the House, starring Will Ferrell, Andrew J. Cohen.
You just write a script, and then you make a movie, and it sort of takes care of that anxiety.
Saturdays, 8 a.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your source for local talk, news, and sports.
You're listening to Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR. Also, you can watch us on TV 10 as we broadcast live each weekday evening. Glad to have you, whether you're listening or watching. All right, let's get into it as we've been talking NFL. The Washington Redskins and the New Orleans Saints will be joining that game in progress after the Dana Holgerson show, which is from 7 to 9 tonight. And then the Redskins will come on at 9 o'clock. You gave us the tease going into the break that we have a new segment and that we have a special first honoree right from the very Redskins division. Tell me, first of all, the birth of this new segment. Where did it come from?
The Donk of the Week award. It seems like every week we talk about somebody doing something stupid or somebody that you just look at and go, why? Or just makes you angry. So a donk would be short for donkey, which if you don't know what that implies, then look it up. And refers to a rear end.
There is
in a certain
another
way.
terminology.
So
yes.
The nice way is, I don't know if it's a nice way because I kind of use it in a not nice way, but call somebody a donk. So we're going to have the Donk of the Week award. And this week it goes to Odell Beckham Jr., who just received a contract in the offseason to become the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. He is set to make over his contract of 5 years, $95 million with 65 guaranteed, averaging 19 a year. And that was after he complained because that just wasn't, he needed more money. He needed to be respected. That just wasn't enough. And this now makes him average per year $2,500 more than the next closest receiver.
2,500?
25. I'm sorry. 25 or 2.5 million.
2.5 million. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
I'm not used to dealing in numbers this big.
I understand.
Yeah. And that's Mike Evans, who gets $16.5 million a year and only has a mild $82 million contract.
Tampa Bay
so
Buccaneers.
after all that complaining in the offseason, I believe there's a camp holdout for a length of time, if I remember correctly, trying to think back to training camp. He finally got his contract. Everything seems to, he wants money. He got his money. He does a interview with ESPN prior to this weekend's game. And it aired on Sunday NFL Countdown. And basically he laid out how if he was on any other team or there was any other system being run, he would have double or triple some of his stats. And when asked about some of those instances and why they are a certain way or why he believes that. This was his response, and this is part of his interview with ESPN that aired on NFL Sunday Countdown.
I want you to tell me what you think is the biggest heart of the issue. You ready to hear this? Me too.
It's a different place. You know, the energy, it isn't like where I say we come from. It isn't that savage mentality of like, and it's the NFL. It's partly the NFL. You know, it's different than college. When we left practice in college, we going to eat university seafood. We're going to Cane's. We're going to get some food. We're going to chill in the room like we chill together. And, you know, when everybody leaves, they got a family, they got a wife, they got kids to go home to. And necessarily, I don't have that. So I try and build that relationship with my teammates because I want to know who am I going to war with every day. You know, who when the heat's on, who is this person outside of just being in work and saying what's up? So a lot of it has to do with the energy that we have, that we don't bring every single day. And you know me, I'm a passionate, energetic person. I always have to have that. If I don't, it's going to be a problem for me. And just playing with some heart. Like, we just need to play with some heart. We're only 1-3. You know, last year, the year we went 11-5, we were 2-3. We ended up being 2-3 after 5 games. So you never know when you can go on a run. But it's just a matter of when we're going to go on a run. How come we can't throw the ball for more than 20 yards? How come we don't attempt or try to throw the ball for more than 20 yards? Those are questions that we have to figure out. But for now, I would say it's our heart. It's our energy. It's what we bring when we line up before the game. All of that, it counts.
So you get a $95 million contract, 65 guaranteed over 5 years, and your reasoning for being angry is your first reason was things aren't like college. After practice, we all don't go out to eat, and my teammates have the audacity to go home and spend time with their families and be parents and husbands. And I want to know what these guys are like when I have to go into the field of battle. They're responsible people. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're being fathers. They're being husbands. That's what kind of people they are.
Don't you know that
They're
from
good.
practice?
Yeah.
You know, you're around them there.
And then he goes out and questions the very end there. I just don't know why we can't throw the ball for more than 20 yards. Why we can't attempt to throw the ball for 20 more yards. So then you take a shot at not only your offense, but your quarterback and everybody involving that offensive side of the football. And then again, just question everybody's heart. So you've now gone out of your way to call out your teammates, your quarterback, and your coaches. All in one fell swoop. Here's what Giants head coach Pat Shurmur had to say after the game on the situation.
All right, listen, I'm going to answer all the drama questions right now. And I'm going to go back to what I said. All right? I addressed it with Odell. I addressed it with our team. I publicly declared that I didn't agree with his comments. And I asked anybody that was interested, if they wanted clarification, go to Odell, because he's a big man. Now, I'm not going to give the public a pound of flesh on this, right? That would make me small, not strong. And these are the kind of things, in my opinion, when you have the locker room that we have, that will help galvanize them, because the locker room took care of it. And that's all I'm saying on it.
Angrily, I thought he handled that well. I mean, obviously you can tell, which if you're a head coach, there's got to be severe frustration there.
Oh, yes.
But I thought he didn't handle that awful.
No.
He said, we handled it in the locker room. If you got any more questions, I'm not saying anything's bad. I'm not adding fuel to the fire. If you have any more questions, go talk to him. Because obviously, he doesn't mind talking, which nobody ever claimed Odell Beckham had any issue talking or trash talking. But how as a GM, as an owner, as a coach, as a player, as a teammate, a guy that your organization just invested that much money in, how do you keep him? As a general manager, how do you look at him and go, you just complained that you weren't feeling the love here, and we open our bank accounts to you so that maybe we can't go get a couple of other players that could contribute to the team because we want to build this team around you because we think you're that kind of receiver, which he can be. And then you go out and pretty much trash your entire team. Am I reading too much into this?
No, I don't think so. I saw a little bit of a clip earlier on ESPN where some of their, talking heads were bringing up the very subject and, what it might mean. Does this galvanize the locker room? I don't see how when you've got a player that's creating division. That doesn't bring things together. Now, maybe the team can rally around this and try to prove him wrong, and maybe in some kind of silly way it was his way to motivate the team, that we got to have more
There's no
heart.
way that could motivate anybody. You're telling me Eli Manning feels motivated now?
I'm just saying, I'm trying to get into his brain as to, saying those things.
That's a scary thought.
Well, that's part of the issue. Look, why is Des Bryant not found a team yet?
Because he's a me guy, not a we guy.
Well, and what is Odell Beckham?
A major me with a capital M-E.
What is it about wide receivers? That position has become the position.
You look at Antonio Bryant, too. He's going through the same thing.
There you go. Well, why is it that, for whatever reason, wide receivers and defensive backs have become the mouthpieces of the NFL, who have the craziest opinions and the, highest esteem of themselves and their skill set and ability and impact on a game on a regular basis? There's something going on. Did you have special theme music for this particular segment?
I do. This is now the official Donk of the Week theme song.
Okay.
There
you go.
Congratulations to Odell Beckham, our very first Miller Time Donk of the Week.
Well, and you may have missed a portion. Did you watch the whole interview, or
Yes.
as you pulled those?
Yes.
The part that I heard from some of the talking heads, again, as I mentioned earlier on ESPN, as I caught it on my phone, there was a conversation about how many times he said the word "I."
It was a lot
in the midst of the interview.
He said "I," but in his words, it was probably, I'm just worried about the team.
But that was
false.
That was kind of their take on it, was, again, that whole aspect of it's all about me, and Odell, it's not. Now, at the same time,
You're a
he
key
went out
contributor, but that doesn't mean it's all about you.
He threw a touchdown pass to Saquon Barkley. Hello, that was a fun play, and frankly, you should have won. If it weren't for a 63-yard field goal, you win that game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll go to college coming up next after this break on Miller Time.
Hello?
Apparently, there's something wrong with our CBS News feed.
Hello?
Still. Been on the air for an hour and a half, and apparently the CBS News feed can't fix itself. So I'm going to find a local news break with Adam Boardman.
Bueller?
Bueller. All right, let's try this again. Let's go to some news with our staff newsman, Adam Boardman.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. A train hit a car, and amazingly, no one was seriously hurt. Police say it happened Sunday on Joshua Lane in Berkeley Springs. The warning had gone off, and still the car tried to cross the tracks. 2 people, both of whom were in the car, were hospitalized, but they'll be okay. Lincoln County led in new business growth. They had 1.36% growth in September with 5 new businesses, according to the West Virginia Secretary of State's office. Statewide, we saw 10.8% growth in business registrations in the previous 12-month period. That growth was led by Summers County at nearly 16.6%. Berkeley County saw 12.8% growth over the same period. 33-year-old Robert Earl Berkey of Ranson is facing 3 to 15 years in prison after being charged for allegedly selling drugs that resulted in a woman's overdose and death. That's according to the Journal. Berkey was arraigned on Thursday in Jefferson County Magistrates Court. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
We've got more cloud cover in store for tonight. That's going to keep temperatures from dropping very quickly. We'll see an eventual early morning low back to about 66 degrees, way above average for this point in the season. And we're trending warm again for tomorrow and Wednesday. Some sunshine after some morning fog each day. Our high temperature near 80, nighttime low dropping back to the mid-60s. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Why Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg? Because we're a name you can trust. And you can trust that you'll always find a large selection of over 400 new Chevrolets and a wide selection of new Toyotas at unbeatable prices. How unbeatable? Well, we will not be beat on any deal on any new Chevrolet or Toyota. That's right. You will not find a lower price, guaranteed. From Chevy Cruzes, Malibus, Impalas, Equinox, Suburbans, Silverados, to Toyota Yaris, Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and more. No one beats an Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota deal. And remember to check your mailbox for this month's specials and great savings. Simply put, if you're in the market or will soon be in the market for a new or newer vehicle, check out all that Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota has to offer. We're Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg or online at applevalleychevy.com. That's applevalleychevy.com. Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota, a name you can trust.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Baseball, and more baseball. Astros cruising over the Indians, Dodgers, and Braves underway. And still to come tonight, Red Sox and the Yankees. A little bit before 8 o'clock Eastern, Nathan Eovaldi and Luis Severino. That series is deadlocked at one game apiece to be played at Yankee Stadium tonight. The breaking NFL news, Eagles. They have placed running back Jay Ajayi on the IR with a torn ACL. Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern. Redskins at the Saints. Drew Brees needs 201 yards to become the all-time NFL career record holder in passing yardage. He would break Peyton Manning's mark. Mark Ingram is active tonight after a 4-game suspension for New Orleans. 4 games on the ice, 8 games on the NBA preseason hardwood. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Brett Rogers, candidate for House of Delegates, 63rd District. A lifelong resident of Berkeley County, I come from a family of career educators. My dad, Dave Rogers, is basketball coach at Martinsburg High. I was on the 2009 state championship basketball team, and I played football for Coach Dave Walker. I'm running for delegate to speak out forcefully in Charleston for the interest of Berkeley County. Instead of the same old, I'll be your breath of fresh air downstate. I'm a fiscally conservative, open-minded, and energetic voice for our community. This election, vote for Brett Rogers for delegate, paid for by candidate.
In whatever you do, it's good to go the extra mile. But when we go to Antwerp, Belgium to buy a diamond for you, we go the extra 7,982 miles, the distance from here to Antwerp. And when you see your new diamond, the sparkle in your eyes will tell us it was worth it to go the distance. Hi, I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. Dave and I are leaving soon on a diamond buying trip. And here's what going the extra 7,982 miles means for you. A more beautiful diamond than you thought possible for your money. Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. We work directly with the men and women who buy and cut the diamonds. We personally inspect thousands of diamonds to pick only the best out of each parcel. And believe me, we reject hundreds of diamonds for each one we buy. Would you like to own a diamond that will blow by other diamonds in a flash? We're ready to go the extra 7,982 miles for you. See us at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 south of 51 in Inwood.
Brian, from what I've heard, you're using your paper not for writing, but for rolling doobies. You're going to be doing a lot of doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
Oh, boy, as we welcome you back into Miller Time, we've already had our Donk of the Week inaugural award winner, and the living in a van down by the river clip can only mean that someone else is dealing with an off-the-field issue.
No. We play a lot of music. Every now and again, it's nice to throw in some Matt Foley motivational speaker.
Usually you've thrown that in when we've had some kind of a player suspension for use of some substance that was illegal.
I mean, the news break mentioned an overdose, so I guess that's what we can compare it to.
I don't know.
Sometimes you just need a little motivational.
See, you're still trying to fire yourself up for this game tonight.
I don't need
That's
to be
what
fired
it was.
up.
Now
I'm just
I
not
know.
trying to get over the top.
Now I know. You were trying to fire yourself up for this Redskins game. You know, that's
so
what it was.
Motivational speaker in my life.
There it was. You needed a motivational speaker, and you got it.
The best is the Spanish one of those, where he comes in and yells, I am Matt Foley, but he says it all in Spanish. It's so funny.
I will have to look that one up. I must admit I have not seen it. All right, let's turn our attention briefly to, college football?
What?
You want to do that?
I don't know. You said what? I was wondering what you're talking about. Yes, we can go to college football.
I'm
sorry, I won't mess with your brain. I know you've been up for
I was going to say
95 hours.
It's not hard to mess with my brain right now, that's for sure. But, I'm before we get into the Mountaineers and the Shepherd Rams, I just wanted to get into what's going on in college football and really in sports as a whole, right? I mean, everybody wants to win. I understand that.
That's usually the point of sports, Matt. I don't know if you've noticed that part of the game yet.
But here's the deal. Okay, you mentioned earlier, as a Redskins fan, you're still trying to live in reality. And I think sometimes as sports fans, we stop living in reality. And we start going, we have to win, and we have to win now, and we have to win all the time. Forgetting the fact that every week there are how many college football games in all divisions all across the country. Half of the teams are going to lose. That's the nature of the game. Yeah. Two teams play one another. One comes out with a win. One is going to come out with a loss. And I think sometimes there's an overreaction to both wins and losses.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I don't understand getting ready to go to bed last night and looking at the NFL scores on my phone and finding in the midst of the articles on the NFL a quick note saying sources reveal that Oklahoma defensive coordinator Mike Stoops is going to be let go. And I went, what? And I start reading, and I'm looking at, hey, they gave up 33 points against Baylor the last time out, and then they lost 48-45 against Texas this past weekend. It was time for a change. What?
Time for a change from the best defense in the Big 12. Year in and year out, the Big 12 is known as the conference that scores 1 million points but gives up 1,000,001.
This is the defensive coordinator that was the head of your defense that got you to the
national semifinals last year,
college football playoffs last year, and almost beat Georgia. And now he just suddenly the last 2 weeks he just don't know how to coach no more. I don't know what happened. Are you serious?
Is that how they talk in Oklahoma?
I don't know, but it's the mindset that I don't understand. This guy has been your defensive coordinator, and you have had success. You have been the team to beat in the Big 12, and you've had back-to-back tough games against generally good competition. Baylor's a team that typically scores a lot of teams in the Big 12, and Texas is on a roll. They're playing much better football. They're trying to turn things around after some pretty lean years. And you're going to make this adjustment right now. I guess is what gets me. Hello? You still have half your season left. And I guess that,
do they think one loss now is just totally going to ruin their season?
That's it. And, we can't afford to lose anymore, so we're just going to have to get rid of you so that we can hand it over to...
Can't afford to lose one more, but they are most likely still going to play WVU twice?
So we can hand it over to an assistant coach who's an assistant under the prior defensive coordinator.
So he's going to use the same system.
So I don't understand.
Do you think there was something else going on there? Because while you say overreaction... You laying out all those points, I mean, seeing that seemed odd enough. Mm-hmm. Seeing that headline was odd enough. But laying out all those points, do you think there was a chance there may have been something else going on there?
Maybe. And
I'll
be anxious to see over the course of the next few days and or even the next week or two if there is some underlying motivating factor in there.
Because how often do you see a top 25 team and really a top 10 team?
Yes.
Lose the first game of this season and their second game and really only their third game in the last two seasons so far.
Right.
And, okay, they gave up a lot too. What was the final score of that
48-45.
Yeah, 48-45. So you have the two highest scoring games you have this year so far are 48 and 33. That's not bad. In college football right now, and especially in the Big 12, that's not bad. I think keeping Baylor to 33 points wasn't too bad because while Baylor's not that good of a team, Baylor's known for scoring 60.
That's it.
All the time.
Yes.
They'll give up 65, but they're known for scoring 60.
So let's overreact the other way.
Good. I like overreacting.
Because, okay, Texas, that's a big win. I mean, that's a top 10 school. They were number 7.
Their third top 25 win this year. Do you realize that?
And they were number 19 going into that game against number 7, Oklahoma. So by beating Oklahoma by 3, and let's go back, they had a big lead. Oklahoma rallied in that game.
If there was 5 more minutes in that game, Oklahoma probably wins.
So that's what I'm looking at and thinking. And yet, okay, Oklahoma's getting rid of a defensive coordinator because you couldn't get the job done. And the AP pollsters are going, holy cow, we missed a boat on this Texas team. They're darn good. We need to bump them up 10 whole spots and somehow put them in the top 10. Now, at number 9, it was a 3-point win over a good Oklahoma team. Let's not go too far. This is the team that opened the season with a loss to Maryland. Sorry. Sorry.
Whew. Okay. You got that shot out of the way. Let me grab the knife out of my back. No, you want to know the funny thing about this Texas team? Looking at their schedule, they've done light years better against the 3 ranked opponents they've seen. Texas is now 5-1. 6 opponents so far. They lose to Maryland by 5. They only beat Tulsa by a touchdown, 28-21. And against Kansas State, only win by 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then against the 3 ranked teams in USC, TCU, and now Oklahoma, they beat USC 37-14. That's a butt whooping.
Now, again, though, USC is struggling.
Yes, but at the time was number 22 in the country.
Correct.
17 TCU, doubled them up almost, 31-16, and then beat a very good Oklahoma team 48-45.
TCU is now no longer in the top 25 either.
At the time.
I know, I understand, but I'm just saying.
It's fun. This Texas team's funny. Who they come out, they play to their opponent. They play to their opponent is what their schedule shows right now. And I mean, it's hard to see a team that when you look back at their schedule, they have 3 top 25 wins and imagine them not in at least the top 15. But I think jumping from 19 to 9 is a bit of a stretch, especially when Oklahoma loses and only drops 2 spots. They're not number 11, or I guess 4 spots.
4, yeah.
But still,
7 down to 11.
It seems really weird that Texas has a drastic increase and Oklahoma only drops down a little bit. Or does that just show how much they think Texas is really all that maybe that was a
that's the
quality
point.
loss?
They think Texas is all of that until Texas plays and loses to West Virginia. Although when West Virginia lost, may not drop them far because right now the Mountaineers moved up to number 6.
Yeah.
From number 9 to number 6 in a win against a Kansas team that is, not traditionally been a strong program.
Here's what I think. When you looking at this top 10 now, there are some and Texas now going back into that top 10, there are some historic, always good teams in there now.
Mm-hmm.
That the top 10 hasn't necessarily featured all these teams in a long time. Alabama is going to be there. Georgia, back relevant over the last couple years. Ohio State, back in it since Urban Meyer. Clemson, back in their title since Dabo came back. They've become relevant again. Notre Dame's at number 5. The Mountaineers are number 6. Washington, Penn State's at number 8. That's the first time that they've started to finally put together consecutive winning seasons since the Sandusky and Paterno scandals. And now you have Texas back in the top 10. That looks good for college football. Having the Texas Longhorns back in the top 10 is good for college football. Now, do I agree they're a top 10 team? No. But I think the committee that's voting for the AP Top 25 is looking at that going, man, you mentioned some of these games down the stretch if Texas is in the top 10, along with Notre Dame and Clemson and Ohio State and Alabama. Can you imagine if the Texas Longhorns with their fan base, with the entire state of Texas, can get behind this team in the second half and go into the bowl season, into the college football playoff season? That's all I'm saying. And I guess I may be completely wrong, but looking at that you have millions of fans out there hooking them, going, man, Texas is back in the top 10. Beat 3 ranked opponents so far this year.
And time will tell whether they belong there, right?
Yeah.
Because they're either going to keep winning and stay in that top 10, just like West Virginia, coming in at number 6.
And talk about West Virginia's put themselves in a pretty good spot.
Especially with that Oklahoma loss. They still play Oklahoma. They still play Texas. But they can't overlook Iowa State this weekend.
No. But you look at the college. I mean, I know it's still early to be looking at the college football playoffs. The top 6, the top 4 get in, but the top 6 are what make up the top 4. The top 6 is where they break everything down and go, okay, who are the 4 we want in there? So WVU has put themselves in that mix now. They've gotten to that point now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, still a small sample size, still a lot of that Big 12 season left to go.
Right.
And right around this part of the season last year is when they started to sputter out a little bit. And looking at the last 2 weeks, the offense is starting to sputter a little bit.
Now, the good news is, at least this week when you look at it, 2 weeks ago they sputtered after putting up 28 points in the first quarter and 7 points in the second quarter, didn't score in the second half.
No, they scored in the second half, not offensively.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. But the offense didn't score. So, yeah. So the offense scores 35 first half points, doesn't score in the second half. The offense gets the 38 points in this one. It wasn't a defensive score. So it's nice when you can say your offense is sputtering and still puts up 38 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that there's a positive. And the good news as well is that this defense has held up. This defense has done what a lot of people were hoping it would be able to do. There were a lot of questions about this defense coming in, giving up 30-plus points, 400-plus yards a game last year. And this defense, under Coach Gibson, give him credit, has risen to the occasion and has played very good football. But again, man, that's a tough task week in and week out in this Big 12 against the offenses that you face. So that Mountaineer offense has got to be more consistent, I guess is the way to put it, as they go into this game at Iowa State this weekend.
Well, we talk about that offense before we get in our last break of the show. Let's hear from the man who controls that offense, offensive coordinator Jake Spavital.
More people in coverage, and, it could be the same thing as why we did it 15 years ago.
Okay, that's head coach Dana Holgerson. Apparently we had a saving issue where the new file did not save and overwrite the file I wanted it to, so we will not hear from Jake Spavital because our computer is having a mind of its own tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take the break, and maybe it's in there. We'll look for it.
Deep in the archives of the cloud somewhere.
Deep in the heart of Texas, since we were talking about the Longhorns. Hook 'em horns.
All right, well, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll try to get Jake Spavital. If not, we'll just head down to Division II, head down to Shepherdstown.
There you go.
And talk some D2 football. Shepherd also sputtered a little bit this week, but still was able to come through with a victory over the Hilltoppers. We'll tell you all about that coming up next in Miller Time.
Come on. A DUI arrest can have a devastating impact on one's life, your job, your driver's license, and in some cases, your very freedom. My name is Harley Wagner. I own and operate West Virginia's only exclusive DUI defense firm. Since 1999, I've been representing citizens throughout the Eastern Panhandle and state of West Virginia charged with DUI. Let my years of training and experience work for you.
The initial consultation is free at the Wagner Law Firm in Martinsburg. Phone 304-901-7400 or online at westvirginiaduilawyers.com.
Hey, Amy, did you know the Honda Dream Deal sales event is literally happening right now? There's literally great deals on certified pre-owned Hondas.
Literally? I don't trust that word anymore ever since my coworker Jerry told me he could literally eat 1,000 burritos.
That's literally impossible, but there is literally a Honda Dream Deal sales event. And Honda is KBB.com's 2018 best value brand. Seriously.
Now's the time to get a great deal on a certified pre-owned Honda at your local Honda dealer.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for information.
I'm an official sounding scientist, and I'm here for a comfort experiment. We're going to recreate the way your home heating system works in your car. Crank up your heat. Blast it at your face. Starting to break a sweat? This is central heating. A Mitsubishi Electric Zone comfort solution with hyperheating allows you to get just the right amount of heat exactly where you need it. Fast. No cold drafts. It's comfort made personal. This concludes our little comfort experiment.
Take advantage of Mitsubishi Electric's 36-month 0% financing on qualifying systems at McRae Heating and Cooling. Celebrating 80 years in business with free estimates available online at McRaeway.com.
Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
Hello, racing fans. Get set for the best of thoroughbred racing action Saturday, October 13th at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. West Virginia Breeders' Classic 32 features local favorites vying for a year-end championship. Bring your family and friends for an exciting night of gaming, fine dining, and 9 action-packed races for West Virginia owned, bred, and trained thoroughbreds. Post time is 7 p.m. at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. That's Saturday, October 13th. Make your plans now.
And they're off in the West Virginia Breeders' Classic.
We welcome you back into Miller Time. Along with Matt Crawford, I'm Matt Miller. I'm going to guess $749 on the stand-up double-door refrigerator.
$820. Ooh. So you're close. You didn't go over.
But was I closer than any of the other contestants?
Well, considering there's only 2 of us. And
I would always enjoy the end of the show. What do they call it? I don't even. It's been so long since I've watched The Price is Right. The grand finale. You know, when they bring out the super huge packages and it's down to the final 2 contestants who are trying to guess the right price. You know, and if you get within like what $5,000 or whatever, $1,000, you actually can win both of the grand prizes.
Did you ever? Let me try this in English this time. Did you ever have any desire to be on a game show?
I don't know. I guess probably as a kid. I actually go to church with a family where they went out to California on vacation, and he actually got on the show and won a car.
What
from
show?
The Price is Right.
Oh, The Price is Right?
From The Price is Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. So I had to sit on it for a while. Was not allowed to say anything until the show actually aired, but actually won a car on The Price is Right.
It's pretty cool.
So,
all right. Well, we don't have that interview from Jake Spavital.
We did effort it.
Mountaineers offensive coordinator. We did try, and again, the computer had a mind of its own. I told it to overwrite a file and save that sound bit over what apparently was Dana Holgerson from last week, but apparently the computer said, nah, we're not feeling it. So,
and we'll let you hear from Dana Holgerson next at 7 o'clock, just, 4 minutes away.
Coming up. Let's talk some Shepherd Rams to close out this edition of Miller Time. Shepherd goes on the road to West Liberty, Northern Panhandle, Hilltoppers Shepherd gets a 26-14 win over the Hilltoppers. Not a win like the ones Shepherd's been getting recently, but a win nonetheless, and it's a win in a place that you've mentioned is not the easiest place to go up and get a win.
Yeah, for whatever reason. You know, there are certain teams and or certain facilities in every conference that teams, just for whatever reason, don't always play their best there. And, of course, again, if you're Shepherd, you're getting everybody's best shot.
Yeah.
You know, you're leaving the league, so this is their last opportunity possibly to say, we beat Shepherd. And knowing that Shepherd already has a loss, you know, that there are teams that are probably going after him that much harder. You know, we want to be the team that maybe keeps this team from going to the playoffs one final time.
Right now, the AFCA coaches poll isn't helping that at all.
Well, the good news about
that doesn't matter, but
I was going to say the good news about that poll is
I'm a little bitter.
It really doesn't matter. I'm with you. I mean, Shepherd started the season in the top 25.
16, wasn't it?
Somewhere in that ballpark, yeah, 14, 15, 16. Because they and the Mountaineers were very similar when you looked at Division I football in that middle of the pack there. And they lose by 2 points to Notre Dame, a team that was also picked to compete and possibly win the Mountain East Conference Championship, just like the Rams and Fairmont State, all 3 of them right there together. So Shepherd had a 30-game regular season winning streak going into that one, lost by 2 points on the road, down by 18 in the fourth quarter, rallied and was a 2-point conversion dropped pass away from tying it up and maybe even winning that game, and they dropped completely out of the top 25. And they haven't climbed their way back, not even into the others receiving votes category, despite winning 4 consecutive games.
And you look at that, and Charleston was receiving votes. I don't get
Fairmont
it.
State
Fairmont State was
at
receiving
one point
votes.
was receiving some votes.
So apparently you lose by 2 to Notre Dame, and apparently to us, you're dead. That 30-game win streak, opening game loss with a true freshman quarterback at the helm, who has gone on to, since then, win 2 of his first 3 Offensive Player of the Week awards. Apparently, that doesn't show that, okay, maybe that was just Notre Dame edging us out at that point in the season. It's not like Notre Dame went out and blew Shepherd out of the water. It was a 35-33 game. And what Shepherd had a chance to tie it at the end.
And when you look at the other games, even that Notre Dame has played in this Mountain East Conference,
they've been tight.
I was going to say, they've been in some tight games. So apparently that should show, if you think Notre Dame is as good as number 17 in the nation this year, up 3 spots from, or this week, up 3 spots from number 20 last week, then that ought to tell you that the league as a whole must be playing pretty decent if they're having to fight to get those wins. To me, that's one good thing. I know we're running out of time. Shepherd went on the road, hostile environment, maybe didn't play their best football, but got a win.
They did.
26-14.
And that shows this team isn't going to roll over. They're still going to fight. Tyson Bagent, while he looked like a true freshman quarterback over the past weekend at West Liberty, still managed to throw for 4 touchdowns.
There you go.
And over 200 yards. If your true freshman quarterback struggles and has those numbers, that's what you expect. You don't expect him to come out and look like he did against Concord every week. So, at the end of the day, good win for Shepherd. They'll come back home and have a tough game against Fairmont Saturday.
I was going to say, this is a big one coming up this week. That's going to do it, right? We're out of here. The Dana Holgerson Show coming up next. This is Miller Time on Talk Radio, WRNR, Martinsburg.
The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports. Live from